Okay, so what's going on, programmers? In today's video, we're actually going to be solving a Python programming quiz problem. So if you're trying to build your problem solving skills in Python programming, or you want to improve your coding skills by solving some problems, or preparing for an interview, this video is actually a great video for you. Now, I would advise you to consider subscribing if you enjoy this kind of content and would like to hear more or watch more of my videos. Okay. So let's jump right into it. First of all, we need to check out the questions. Now these are the questions. These are the requirements for completing this. Now they say we should write a Python program or R program that asks the user for to enter an input X, then determine if X is prime or not. If X is prime, compute and print the factors of that integer X, and then finally evaluate and print the equation y is equal to 8x squared plus 1 for x values from -5 to 5 using the range function and the for loop. So I basically sketched out this problem into two different parts. The first part where we're going to be writing a program to determine if a number is prime or not. If the number is not prime, our program is supposed to print out the factors of that number. And then secondly, we have to evaluate and print the equation which is stated here. So I'm going to go ahead by defining a function. Say we need to find if this number is prime. So is prime will be the function. And remember, we're accepting the value x. So for now, we're going to pass, and below here, we're going to say x is equal to the user input. So an integer version of the user input. So we're going to just notify the user to enter x. Okay, so that's it. And then finally, we're going to say is prime, or say print. We can say is underscore prime x. Fine. So let's say this prints out x. And just to test if our program is running, and Control F5, enter X5. Okay, 5 gets printed out, which means everything is going as planned. Now for a prime number, we need to loop over numbers. You know, a prime number actually has two factors, which is 1 and then itself. So we can say for I in range 1 to x. Now I'm starting at 1 because we don't want 0, because 0 usually isn't very useful when it comes to finding factors. Now for I in range x, if now x modulo I is equal to 0, then we're going to go ahead and print I. Okay, so what this is basically doing is looping over the numbers from 1 to that particular number you're looking for, and then saying if x goes into that number, or it's modulo that number, we're going to print what is equal to 0. We're going to print I. Now let's see how this works out. Okay, so I'm going to just basically run this program, and we're going to see how it runs out. Now if I put a number like 10, you can see these are the numbers in 10 which actually are its factors. So these are actually the factors of 10. Now if I'd say we should give prime numbers, I would say 2 is a prime number, 5 is a prime number, 7 is a prime number, 11, 13, and so on. So these numbers actually only have two factors, or just has a factor of 1 and then itself. 5 has a factor 1 and then itself. So you can basically see that there's a simple pattern there. So we actually want to know if a number is prime or not. So we actually need to know the number of factors here. Okay, so if for example I run this program and you see we have a number like 5, you can see it just has one single factor, which is 1, and I print another number, say 13, you can see it just has one number. So we have to actually grab that and then actually know the amount of that. So I'm going to go ahead and create a variable factors here, factors to be equal to a list. So instead of printing this, I'll just say factors dot append I. Okay, so that actually grabs all the whole factors. Now after looping through this and getting all the factors, I'm going to say if. Okay, if factors, or if len factors, if len of factors is equal to 1, which means it's actually just one factor in there, which means it's actually a prime number. We're going to print x comma is a prime number. Okay. Now else, we're going to go ahead and print. We're going to print not a prime number. Okay, so if I run this program, you're going to say, if I put a number, say 2, okay, name factor is not defined. So we have to actually name that factors, not factor, and run that again. Okay, 2. You can see 2 is a prime number. Let's give something else like a number like 4. You see, 4 is not a prime number, but in our case, we actually want, when we don't have a prime number, we should actually get the factors of that prime number. So else, we're just going to loop over. You're going to say the factors, so you can just print. Or we should loop over it. So in for I in factors, all we have to do is print. Before we do that, yeah, we could say print. Above here, we print. Let's print these. These are the factors. And then below here, we're just going to say I, comma, and then the end should be a comma. Then we're going to go below here, and then we're going to print a new line \n. So that basically prints a new line for us, and we can proceed. So let's try this out. So if I run this program, okay, we give a number, say 6. You can see it doesn't run as I expected. So let's remove the new line outside of this loop so it doesn't do that like for every loop. So print factors, say 6. Perfect. You can see these are the factors. So basically our program is running as expected. So a program is running as expected. It's actually printing out the prime number when the number is prime, and it's going to give us the factors of the number if the number is not prime. So I believe we're done with the first part of the problem. Let me make sure this is actually recording. Okay, we're done with the first part of the problem, which is to write a program to determine if a number is prime or not. If it's not prime, print out all the factors of that number. So basically, this is the answer to our problem. Okay, so the second part of the question is actually this easier part. So evaluate and print. I'm going to actually copy it and bring it below here so we can actually see it while we're coding. So here we're going to evaluate and print the equation 8y is equal to 8x squared plus 1 for x values from -5 to 5 using the range function and the for loop. So this is actually the simplest one. So I'm going to say for I in range -5, 6. Now you're not going to put 5 here because it actually stops at one index before the number you specify on the other side of the comma. So for this, we're going to evaluate and print the equation. So let's see y, or you can see for x in range, since we're using x and y values. So for x in range of that, y is going to be equal to 8 multiplied by x, or you can see pow, which is going to take the base and then the exponent and so whatnot. So you're going to put x comma 2. So it's actually raising x to the power of 2, and then you plus it with a 1. Okay, so for that range, we've got the x value, we've got the y value. So all you have to do is going to print x. You can print x here, comma x here, comma x, and then comma you're going to print y here, comma y. So in between I might want to give a comma, so we give a comma in between. Okay, so let's run this, please. Hopefully we get the right value. So enter x, let's give it a 3. 3 is a prime number, and you can basically see it's printing out everything for us. When x is -5 though, y is 201. So actually this is correct. You can actually try it out. Let's put a little bit of equal to sign, equal to here and equal to there. and maybe you might print a different print something introductory statement saying x values from -5 to 5, or you can say x comma y, since you're having x and y values, and then you state the equation y is equal to 8x 8x squared, 8x raised to the power of 2 plus 1. So this should give a more beautiful output. So we run our program, we give a 7, or let's give it an 8. You can see the factors, you can see x and y value from this. So this is beautifully arranged, not a complex question, and I hope no one got stuck on the way. If you can't solve it, I'll try my best to put it on my GitHub repository and try to check that out. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please do smash the like button and hit the subscribe button to get more of such videos. Also, if you have any questions or you have any suggestions, maybe a new programming code or code jam, whatever sort of code you want me to write, you can comment it down in the comment section. And if you want to support this channel, you can basically check out our Patreon page. And thank you for all the love and support. I'll be seeing you guys in the next tutorial. Thank you for your time.